Hello everyone, welcome to the Alrasta channel. In this video, I will spoil Swallowed Star episode 163, but this video explains the novel version, so the series version may differ. Now, let's dive into the storyline. After Luo Feng went on a walk with Xu Xin and met the rest of his family, the Luo family will be having a family banquet. With this event, many of the descendants of the Luo family who had ventured out into the universe returned to planet Earth. Long story short, on the day of the family banquet, more than 2,000 descendants and their wives paid tribute to their ancestors who were sitting in the main chair, and he was Luo Feng. Luo Feng laughed when he saw how the Luo family had grown over the past hundreds of years. It was said that the youngest descendant of the Luo family was the 11th generation. There, Luo Feng saw a small child being carried with blue eyes. Luo Feng thought they must be of mixed blood. It turned out that this generation had many partners, Luo Feng said to Xu Xin. Hearing that, Xu Xin nodded her head and explained that one of her great-grandchildren was named Luo Katie. He had more than 51 partners. 1/3 were from Earth women, and the rest were from other races in the universe. Luo Feng showed a surprised expression when listening to Xu Xin's explanation. However, the development of families from the couple's line is already a natural thing in the universe. In fact, it is said that many large families in this universe encourage their male offspring to have 10,000 female partners. With that kind of ratio, it will increase the chances of having a genius in the future. Luo Feng said that this generation seems unreasonable. According to Luo, Luo Katie has business talent, and his strength is only average. Although he is young, he currently has many partners, and according to the information, there are many more unconfirmed partners. At this rate, Luo Katie will be able to form a kind of army using only his descendants. Then finally the banquet was over. And now Luo Feng, Xu Xin, Luo Ping, and Luo Hai were sitting together in their residence. They were the core members of Luo Feng's family and were chatting excitedly. According to what Luo Feng had told his two sons, he would be staying on Earth for quite some time. The duration of his stay could range from a few hundred years to thousands or even tens of thousands of years. Because this mission is only to supervise the Qianwu Imperial Department, Luo Feng does not need to take his real body there. Instead, he will only use the virtual world. Hearing that, his two children were very happy. It is said that Luo Hai is currently a student at the Qianwu Academy and has the power of an 8th-level star. As for Luo Ping, he didn't really like martial arts and only settled on Earth to study business. Because Luo Feng had settled on Earth for a long period of time, Luo Hai, who really liked martial arts and strength, really wanted to be taught by Dylan, who was his immortal guardian. However, Luo Feng advised Luo Hai not to bother Dylan too much. With a strength at the level 8 star level, only 10 World Master Guardians of Luo Feng have been recognized by the power of the Origin Law and can teach Luo Hai well. Upon hearing this, Luo Hai was very happy and excited. "Okay, Dad, I understand," Luo Hai said. Then, Luo Feng looked at Xu Xin and said that he wanted to overhaul the security of the Earth. Luo Feng then called Dylan and ordered Dylan to explain it to Xu Xin. When he heard Luo Feng's call, Dylan immediately appeared before them all and explained. According to Dylan, as a genius of the Virtual Universe Company, Luo Feng is an important asset to humanity in this universe. And it is estimated that in the future, Luo Feng can at least reach the level of immortal, maybe even universe venerable. Thus, it is certain that other races will pay attention to him as well and will move slowly to spy on and even kill Luo Feng if they get the chance. However, these actions will not be easily carried out by the other races. This is because they have been cornered by the development of human power, so they will never be able to reveal themselves freely. It is said that the stronger the power of the foreign race, the more difficult it is for them to hide. That way, they would definitely use other plans to spy on and control these geniuses, such as influencing human minds and going directly to use their pawns. That way, according to Dylan, humanity must not be careless and must protect the geniuses they fostered well. That is why the Virtual Universe Company will overhaul the Earth's security system so that they can guarantee Luo Feng's safety while in the Milky Way, especially on Earth. When Dylan, Shushin, and their 2 children heard his explanation, they were amazed at the security system. Long story short, Luo Feng and Shushin finally went to rest. Then, in bed, just as they were about to go to sleep, Shushin suddenly said that during the time that Luo Feng had not been on Earth in the last 100 years, the Luo family had done a lot of business, and they had also been building everywhere. However, when they were excavating many places for construction, starting from the mountains and other vast lands, they found objects that seemed to have come from ancient civilizations. So the Luo family company researched and studied them. However, there was one object that could not be understood, which was an object made of Class F metal. However, it was not a type of metal. It is said that the researchers have tried hard to melt it, but it cannot be done at all. They have even used the heat of the sun, but still cannot. Hearing this, Luo Feng was immediately surprised. According to the information he had obtained, Class E metals were too extreme for the human race to process, and for Class F, usually the human race will work together with the robot race to be able to process it into a universe ship and others. Then, for the superclass above Class G, it is a very hard metal, and to get that class of metal comes from the body of the robot race. An AI from the robot race, when they have reached the immortal level, will understand the essence of the metal in their body. That way, the essence of the metal will evolve into a superclass. If what Shushin said is true, it means that there are limbs of the robot race that they have encountered. Shushin said that the object was placed in the Luo family museum, and he named it the Luo family's #1 treasure. With that, Luo Feng immediately asked Shushin to take him there. Long story short, Luo Feng and Shushin entered the Luo family museum and headed to the underground passage. The underground passage was equipped with metal protection and walls, so the treasure seems to be quite safe in the Luo family. There it is, Shushin said, pointing towards the object. Luo Feng immediately picked it up and lifted the object. According to Shushin, even though they couldn't melt it down and study what this thing really was, they estimated that it had been in the ground for more than 600 million years. Then Luo Feng asked Babata about this object, but even an AI of Babata's caliber didn't know about it. Then Luo Feng tried to shake the object with all his might. With his increased mental strength, he could have destroyed the planet. However, the object did not shake, not even a crack. Luo Feng was like an ant shaking a tree. What a strange metal, Luo Feng said. Then he put the object in his space ring. He then escorted his wife to the room where she could rest once more. In the room, Luo Feng continued to stare at the object. He attempted to extract information from the memory of the golden-horned behemoth monster. However, he found no information about the object at all. There must be something strange about it, and it must be a good treasure, Luo Feng muttered. Well, since he didn't get any information, Luo Feng tried to use spiritual energy to scan this object. After scanning it with spiritual energy, Luo Feng's expression suddenly changed. He found many barriers inside the black object. Because of the barrier, Luo Feng used his life core to strengthen his spiritual power and tried to break through the barrier. However, just as he managed to break through the barrier, Luo Feng suddenly felt a very strong illusory pressure. This illusion could even affect Luo Feng. When that happened, Luo Feng focused himself and continued to enter the object using his spiritual power or energy. After breaking through more than 10,000 illusions, letters resembling ancient Chinese writing finally began to flood Luo Feng's mind. This turned out to be an inherited object, Luo Feng muttered in surprise. Did you find something? Babata asked. Hearing that, Luo Feng immediately showed the ancient Chinese letters to Babata. Seeing that, Babata was immediately surprised. This is the fire god race, Babata shouted. Luo Feng immediately used the memory of his golden horn to search for information about the fire god race. In that memory, the fire god race was one of the powerful races in the universe, and it must not be disturbed. That was all the information Luo Feng got. Then, Luo Feng asked Babata about the race. According to Babata, she did not know about this race before. However, while serving Luo Feng and entering the primal secret realm with Luo Feng, Babata, as Luo Feng's AI, obtained this information from the Virtual Universe Company. The information said that although the Fire God race was not very prominent in the universe, and their territory was not as large as the human, insect, and robot races, their strength could not be underestimated. With their many absolute warriors and small territory, they could maximize their existing strengths. That way, most of the Fire God race had above-average abilities. The analogy goes like this. The top 8 races in the universe, such as the human race, the insect race, the robot race, and 5 other races, are said to be the elite class forces in the universe. As for the Fire God race, the beast race, although they are strong, they are only categorized as a strong class force in this universe. Their troop numbers are lower than the elite class forces, so they are only in the strong class forces. However, Luo Feng's question is, why did pieces of heritage from the Fire God race reach Earth? When that happened, Luo Feng focused himself and continued to enter the object using his spiritual power or energy. After breaking through more than 10,000 illusions, letters resembling ancient Chinese writing finally began to flood Luo Feng's mind. This turned out to be an inherited object, Luo Feng muttered in surprise. Did you find something? Babata asked. Hearing that, Luo Feng immediately showed the ancient Chinese letters to Babata. Seeing that, Babata was immediately surprised. This is the Fire God race, Babata shouted. Luo Feng immediately used the memory of his golden horn to search for information about the Fire God race. In that memory, the Fire God race was one of the powerful races in the universe, and it must not be disturbed. That was all the information Luo Feng got. Then, Luo Feng asked Babata about the race. According to Babata, she did not know about this race before. However, while serving Luo Feng and entering the primal secret realm with Luo Feng, Babata, as Luo Feng's AI, obtained this information from the Virtual Universe Company. The information said that although the Fire God race was not very prominent in the universe, and their territory was not as large as the human, insect, and robot races, their strength could not be underestimated. With their many absolute warriors and small territory, they could maximize their existing strengths. That way, most of the Fire God race had above-average abilities. The analogy goes like this. The top 8 races in the universe, such as the human race, the insect race, the robot race, and 5 other races, are said to be the elite class forces in the universe. As for the Fire God race, the beast race, although they are strong, they are only categorized as a strong class force in this universe. Their troop numbers are lower than the elite class forces, so they are only in the strong class forces. However, Luo Feng's question is, why did pieces of heritage from the Fire God race reach Earth? At this time, Luo Feng began to search for the meaning of the words contained in the object. After reading for a while, Luo Feng concluded that the words seemed to be a guide to a powerful technique. How could it not be? Inside the word, it says there are 9 parts to strengthen the body and soul. In fact, in this universe, the evolutionary limit of a warrior's body can only develop to the level of World Master. However, according to the guide, if someone trains using this technique, then that person's body will develop even further and become stronger. According to Luo Feng, the technical guide contained in these ancient words goes beyond the law of origin of the universe itself. Unfortunately, however, according to Luo Feng, the guide is incomplete, as some parts are missing. It looks like it is a guide to changing the genetics of living things. As long as Luo Feng studied his technique, these were all methods of understanding the origin law of the universe itself. However, unlike this guide, it seems that it has broken the origin law of the universe itself. Thus, many immortal warriors in this universe, from immortal general to immortal emperor, cannot develop their bodies further. If they knew of the existence of a celestial guide, like the one Luo Feng obtained, they would strive to obtain it. They might fight each other, and a great war would ensue. Even though Luo Feng's status is very high in this universe, he is still a young genius who is still developing and has not reached the highest point of the strongest human race. Well, knowing that, Luo Feng wouldn't reveal this technique guide to anyone. If he succeeds in fully understanding it and closes the incomplete part, the evolution of soul and body will be successful. That way, the genetics of Luo Feng's entire body will change. However, if it doesn't work, his soul and body will be lost. This is a really strange and scary guide. However, Luo Feng doesn't need to worry about that. Then the next morning, Luo Feng told everyone, including Dylan, that he would conduct his closed training. In the underground room of Luo's residence, Luo Feng was seen sitting cross-legged there. He then took out the Mosha mode to transform his body into a red sword. Not only that, Luo Feng also put his life essence into the body of the Mosha mode, which was shaped like a sword. This was because Luo Feng wanted to practice the guidance he had obtained in his main body. So even if his body disappeared, he would be able to reshape it, as long as his core life was not affected later. And the reason why Luo Feng's Mosha mode took the form of a sword was so as not to make the people around him suspicious that there was more than one Luo Feng in their house. Luo Feng then took a deep breath and began to understand the 30,000 words of each level of the guide. There seemed to be 3 energies resonating with each other in Luo Feng's body, namely the energy of his body, genetics, and spirit or soul. If another warrior who did that made even the slightest mistake, these 3 energies would be lost, and it would lead to the death of that warrior. However, unlike Luo Feng, he only needs to reform his body. As long as the core of his life is safe, Luo Feng will be fine. As the resonance of the 3 energies took place, Luo Feng's body was seen to slowly begin to evolve to a higher level. The muscles, bones, and cells in Luo Feng's body underwent significant changes. Well, this is really surprising, Luo Feng muttered excitedly, because he felt changes in his body. Not only that, Luo Feng also felt that a new universe seemed to be forming in his body. Long story short, 20 days passed and Luo Feng was still in training. But a little while later, Luo Feng felt extremely painful convulsions. His eyes were red, and even the inner world in his body was affected, causing him to experience violent shocks, until finally Luo Feng's body disappeared or turned to dust. Then Luo Feng tried again and failed again. But every time he failed, Luo Feng felt his strength double. Then, the newly formed Luo Feng felt again that this technique was really strange and scary. Now, Luo Feng's body reform is like that of an immortal warrior. Keep this in mind. Even if the immortal warrior's body turns to dust, they will not be able to die just like that, because they can reform their body with their soul, and that is what is called an immortal warrior. When Luo Feng understood this guidance technique before, he felt that his body was united with the universe, and could create the universe itself through his body. Thus, a small universe was slowly formed inside Luo Feng's body. According to the guidance technique, if someone can connect to the universe, then even having a weak body will not be a problem, because this technique makes the body strengthen itself. Here Luo Feng was curious. Who exactly created this technique? It is truly amazing. Luo Feng thought maybe the warrior who created this technique had transcended the laws of the universe itself, or was a warrior above the level of universe master. Therefore, understanding this high level of guidance technique is even more difficult than understanding the origin law of space-type, because this technique was created by the supreme being in this universe. Well, because his main body failed, Luo Feng would try to use the golden-horned monster mode to practice this technique. That way, Luo Feng immediately entered his inner world. It can be seen at this time that the golden-horned monster mode has 5 horns, which already indicates that its power is at the level of a World Master level 9. Since Luo Feng's main body, Mosha mode, and golden-horned monster mode are all at the level of World Master level 9, he will be able to accommodate the core power of golden-horned in his main body. Then, Luo Feng has entered training using the golden-horned mode. Luo Feng had previously thought that if he failed and made the golden-horned body disappear, it would require enormous energy to reform this body. Long story short, after 2 months of practicing using the golden-horned mode, Luo Feng showed a smile, and he was very excited. This being worn, Luo Feng's golden-horned mode managed to understand the first part of the 9 parts of this guide technique, and it increased his strength quite a bit. Not only that, He also began to find the right way when he had failed before in his main body. However, previously the golden-horned Luo Feng's body had disappeared once. However, what surprised Luo Feng was that the ashes that flew from the disappearance of the body could be reformed, and it didn't require much energy. That way, Luo Feng looked excited here. Luo Feng also felt that the body strength of the golden-horned mode had increased by 50%. Although the development is not as fast as the main body, it is already very impressive. How could it not be? The innate strength of the golden-horned monster body alone is very high, and now it has increased to 50%. This would really make other warriors envious if they knew about it. However, previously the golden-horned Luo Feng's body had disappeared once. However, what surprised Luo Feng was that the ashes that flew from the disappearance of the body could be reformed, and it didn't require much energy. That way, Luo Feng looked excited here. Luo Feng also felt that the body strength of the golden-horned mode had increased by 50%. Although the development is not as fast as the main body, it is already very impressive. How could it not be? The innate strength of the golden-horned monster body alone is very high, and now it has increased to 50%. This would really make other warriors envious if they knew about it. While Luo Feng and the Luo family were engaged in a large-scale search, on the other hand, a beam of purple light could be seen crossing near the Milky Way. At that speed, he suddenly slowed down and stared at the barrier that Master Hu Yanbo had previously created. Well, if someone can fly freely in this universe at such a terrifying speed, they are definitely a warrior-level immortal. According to this immortal warrior, the technique created by Hu Yanbo was ordinary. With his power, he could easily destroy this barrier. However, because he did not want to make the virtual universe company detect him, he slowly entered the Milky Way solar system stealthily. With immortal power, the warrior could easily enter the barrier created by Master Hu Yanbo. After he entered the Milky Way region, his eyes stared at the Earth and guessed that it was the Earth of genius Luo Feng. Then the immortal warrior took out a large universe ship and left it there. After that, he left the Earth and the Milky Way at the same time. It can be seen that in the universe ship, there are many warriors researching the Earth. And after getting the information, they immediately sent it to their other colleagues. Long story short, 3 days later at the underground base, they saw the universe ship that was previously anchored there. On board the ship, a member reported to the captain that Earth's security had been upgraded. That way they wouldn't be able to get close to Luo Feng. Actually, they didn't want to kill Luo Feng for now, and they planned to monitor him first. According to the information, it seems that this surveillance group is from another race that Dylan had previously described. And they are the 13th surveillance group. Although this mysterious surveillance organization was on Earth, Luo Feng could not detect it at all. At this time, Luo Feng was still continuing his training and trying to understand the first part of this mysterious guide using his main body. Not only that, he also deepened his understanding of the 9-universe monument and the various techniques that Luo Feng had previously studied. In summary, 50 years have elapsed quickly. Then, after 50 years had passed, Luo Feng also occasionally entered the virtual world to pay attention to the performance of the Qianwu roughness department. Although he found some things that were awkward, he did not solve them violently, but slowly. Then Luo Feng went to meet his second older brother, the Thunder God, in the virtual world. And they talked about their progress and experiences over the past 50 years. Unfortunately, even though it had been going on for 50 years, Luo Feng still hadn't found another piece of the powerful metal. As such, he was also unable to continue his training into the second part of the mysterious guide technique. Then what happened next? Okay, that's all from me, and thanks for watching until the end, guys. Thank you. Bye.